Hello, Namaskar, Adab. Ceasefire has been announced in Gaza. There are reports as well as videos of Israeli Defense Forces pulling out of Gaza City and other parts of North Gaza. There are videos of Palestinians trudging back to Gaza City. And there are also reports of sporadic violence by the Israeli Defense Forces against Gazan people. Given all this, today in this video, I want to raise two questions and in the end, float an argument as a bonus. So please do watch this video till the end. My first question is why I think this ceasefire will not lead to end of violence, even though it may provide a brief respite to the people of Gaza. My second question is why I think, despite this pessimism, it is absolutely critical that the world puts its collective might together to ensure an implementable and sustainable resolution of the Palestine-Israel conflict. Now, the first question first. Why I think that this ceasefire will just be a temporary halt and not lead to long-term peace. In 1953, there was a Hindi film called Patita, in which there was a song Andhe Jahan Ke Andhe Raste. It was written by Shailendra and sung by Talad Mahmood. One of the verses of the song was Aagaaz ke din tera anjam tay ho chuka. Your consequence was decided the day of your conception. This is the reason why I think that Trump's much touted peace plan will not succeed, because the plan itself holds all the reasons for its failure. I present 5 reasons. Number 1, the plan puts the onus of peace, the entire responsibility of maintaining the ceasefire, on Hamas and the Palestinian people. Now, it's a truism that between the powerful and the weak, the initiative is always with the powerful. They decide whether they want war or they want peace. They decide the pace of their war campaign and the intensity of their campaign. In the last 2 years, Israel had the initiative. Israel decided the pace of the conflict. There are reports coming out now, including from members of Prime Minister Netanyahu's Likud government, that in the last 2 years, all attempts at negotiation of hostage exchange were stymied by the Prime Minister's office. The Prime Minister was determined not to negotiate peace with the Palestinians or the Hamas because he wanted to achieve certain military objectives before he would feel confident or he would be happy to enforce peace at its terms. Now, if you would recall, or people would recall, that last year also a ceasefire was announced in February, which ended up in the heap of massacres by the IDF within a few weeks. So even now, even as this ceasefire is holding, it's been 3 days now, Israel continues, or the IDF continues to occupy over 50% of Gazan territory. The yellow line, which has been marked for the withdrawal of the Israeli troops, is on the Gazan land. Now, the presence of the IDF on Gazan territory itself is a provocation and can lead to any incident, and a smallest incident of violence could unravel the ceasefire. The second reason is the phraseology of the peace plan itself. It portrays Israel as a victim of unilateral violence by Hamas. It makes no reference of the century-old conflict, Israeli-Palestine conflict. It makes no mention of the genocide which had been going on for the last 2 years. It makes no mention of 67,000 Gazans, men, women, children, having been massacred by IDF, Israel Defense Forces. And it makes absolutely no mention of the continuous violence of the IDF against the Gazan people, even as the ceasefire has been um, enforced or accepted by Hamas. Even as we talk, or even as I'm making this video, there are reports of IDF killing Gazan people for sport. Now, if the Gazans refuse to die quietly, that would be a provocation for the IDF and can lead to greater violence, unraveling of the ceasefire. The third reason is the peace plan calls for demilitarization of Gaza and de-radicalization of the Palestinian people. It puts no such conditions on Israel. If the last 2 years have shown anything, it's this, that the Israeli society has become so radicalized that it refuses to recognize Palestinians as fellow humans. Their language, their conduct, everything dehumanizes the Palestinian people. This kind of society actually needs sustained de-radicalization programs. This de-radicalization has to start in Israel and has to start right away. The fourth reason is widespread suspicion about the Israeli intentions. And these suspicions are not only amongst the Palestinians or the Hamas, but actually also amongst a lot of Western analysts. The former Israeli intelligence chief, who demitted office last year, had said while he was in the office that 50 Palestinians needed to be killed. It didn't matter if they were children, to avenge the death of one Israeli. So he had given the ratio of 1:50. Now, with the killing of 67 or over 67,000 Palestinians, this ratio has been achieved, more or less has been achieved. So perhaps having achieved this ratio, Netanyahu wants to give a breather to his people and to his military. Maybe he wants to use this time of the ceasefire to reinforce his military, fill the gaps in his capabilities, or he wants to use this time to, the 50% of the Palestine Gazan territory which it continues to occupy. Maybe he wants to use this time to rebuild that and pave the way for more Jewish enclaves and settlements in this area, just as they have been doing in the West Bank. And once this area is consolidated, they'll start moving westward again. So this is a suspicion. Now, the fifth reason is that for all the professions of peace, the West, especially the US, has not stopped funding Israel. It has not stopped funding Netanyahu's war machinery. So when you continue to supply that, you continue to replenish that, it only means one thing, that you actually do not think any kind of peace is possible, or you do not think that any kind of peace is desirable. So it's anybody's guess how long this ceasefire will hold. Now, having said this, my second point, or the question that I raised in the beginning, is why I think that it is absolutely critical that we must ensure there is a sustainable, just and implementable resolution between Israel and Palestinian people, a resolution to this conflict which has been going on for nearly a century now. The first reason is there has been unprecedented mass uprisings against the Israeli genocide in Palestine in Western cities. People in the West have risen up against their own governments, holding support rallies for the Palestinian people. There are reports of Israeli civilians migrating from Israel because it is no longer deem it safe or safe for the future of their children, migrating to the West. Now, these civilians are becoming or will be very vulnerable in these countries, where in any case there has been a history of anti-Semitic sentiment. So one kind of hatred will fuel another kind of hatred, and it will make the entire world extremely unstable. So for that reason, you have to ensure that this process of hatred is stymied, it is stemmed at this point right away. The second reason is that since the state of Israel came into existence, the Palestinian issue has been the single biggest cause of radicalization amongst the Muslims worldwide. The suffering of the Palestinian people have angered the Muslims, and their resistance has inspired similar resistance movements. The Middle East is not only the center of the globe, it is also the center of the Muslim world. Apart from the Persian Gulf states, the Arab states which surround the Palestinian territory, to the west you have North and Central Africa, African countries, all Muslim populated. To the north you have East European countries, including Turkey. To the west, to the east, you have Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iran, of course, the Persian Gulf nation. You have Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and up north you have Central Asia. All of them have Muslim population, and in many of these places you have restive Muslim populations who have in the past rallied for the cause of Palestinian people, and in many of these areas they continue to rally for the Palestinian people. This restive population is a dangerous thing for stability, for peace in this region. Considering that this is the playground of global geopolitics today, it is important that this region remains stable, or at least there is some semblance of stability in this region. So it is very important that the Palestinians should get a feeling of their concerns having been heard by the world and their struggle not being in vain. So it is important that we work towards resolving the Palestine-Israel question. And now, the argument which I just want to float. And that argument is, a lot of people talk of two-state solution. In the last few months, countries which have been supporting the Israeli war against the Palestinian people, who continue to support Israeli defense forces through weapons and through funds, have recognized or claimed to recognize a state of Palestine. Now, where is this state of Palestine? Is it in the pockmarked West Bank, where the Palestinian population lived along with the Jewish settlements, and they are completely powerless against the increasing Jewish settlements, and this Palestinian Authority is powerless, absolutely emasculated. It cannot even protect its own people. Or is it in Gaza, which is completely ruined, has been reduced to rubble? So where is this state of Palestine? Any state, the idea of a nation state, the basic requirement of our nation state, its ability to protect its people and to protect its sovereignty. No state of Palestine will ever be able to do that, because next door it has a very powerful Israel. Forget the state of Palestine. The neighbors of Israel, from Qatar to Bahrain to Arabia, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Syria, none of them can save their territory or safeguard their territory against Israel. So what to talk of Palestine? So any state which is completely vulnerable to any kind of military assault at whim by its powerful neighbor, it's untenable. What ideally we should be looking at is one united nation, one United States of Israel and Palestine, in which it should be a secular, democratic, multi-party country. Palestinians should be equal stakeholders as the Jewish people. And it sounds fanciful right now, but all great ideas start maybe with a fantasy. And the biggest argument in favor of this idea is that even Israel is insecure, despite its military might, despite its blanket support from the US. It remains insecure. Its people remains insecure, and it is this insecurity which has radicalized its society. No nation can be secure if it is surrounded by hostile, insecure countries. So, for the security and the future of the state of Israel itself, it is important that it makes space for others living in that territory. It makes them equal stakeholder to their collective future, their well-being, their right to this land, to the resources of this land, to its orchards, to its olive groves, to its date groves. It is very important. And on that note, thank you so much for listening to this.